Hi there, I'm Ann Trujillo, and welcome to Politics Unplugged. Another legislative session is over at the state capitol. And as always, how much was accomplished is a matter of perspective. And one of the big takeaways, a bipartisan deal that will provide some stability for the state's retirement program known as PARA. Under the bipartisan deal, state employees and the state itself will contribute more. New employees will be eligible to retire at the age of 64. Not exactly an ideal situation for the 1 in 10 Coloradans who rely on PARA for their retirement. And while no one got everything they wanted, the governor says he's proud everyone worked together on this deal.
None of the sides are getting what they wanted, and in many cases don't get what they thought was the most important thing, that the critical thing they wanted most, they had to compromise on, and that actually takes a lot more out of you, takes a lot more heart than either winning or losing.
And of course, that was not the only big issue lawmakers took on this session. And here to talk about how lawmakers did are Speaker of the House, Crisanta Duran, and Senate President Kevin Grantham. And so thank you both for being here. So let me ask you, how did you do this year?
I think it was a remarkable session. The end of the last legislative session, the governor said it was the most productive in his time as governor. And I think this year we actually had more results. It was great to see Republicans and Democrats coming together to put partisanship aside, to put politics aside, and to really do what is right for the people of Colorado and make sure that problem solving was our top priority.
We did get a lot done. It was a great session. We set out from day one to get some major things accomplished when it came to roads and transportation. Rural broadband has been something that we've all been talking about for years, along with transportation. We look at energy, we look at PARA, just so many things that were on the table in front of us. And at the end of the day, we got things done. As the governor mentioned, nothing that pleases everyone 100%. But then again, we're in a split legislature, so we're not going to get everything we want. But we got enough on both sides that we moved the ball down the field, and I think we're happy.
Sexual harassment was a big issue this year for the state legislature. How did you feel? Was that handled properly when you look back on how the session went?
Well, we took some strides forward, and I think the Speaker and I both in working through with our executive committee on the Legislative Council, trying to take steps forward in how we handle this. And I think our interim committee coming up this summer and fall, will take a much more in-depth look at the Investigations Law Group report that came out, and we'll be able to help the next legislature move forward in a very positive manner with steps in policy and procedure that will make it a much better place to work and a much more comfortable environment for all.
Did that set you back in any way on accomplishing other things this year?
No, I think at the beginning of session, we made it very clear that we were going to take on the issue of sexual harassment head on, that we were going to show through our actions that the intolerable would not be tolerated. And I think that is why you saw leadership positions being taken away, in addition to the first expulsion of another Democratic member in over 100 years. It was very tough decisions that we had in front of us, but I think we did the right thing. But we also wanted to make sure that it was a priority to address harassment, while at the same time make sure that we didn't lose sight of all of the other issues that Coloradans face every single day, and that we were able to provide solutions to those.
Randy Baumgardner in particular, do you have any regrets about how that situation was handled?
Well, as far as the reports that came out and the quality of those reports, the punishments that were meted out were talked about and handled with the minority party as well as the leadership from the majority party, and they were commensurate with the actual findings in the report, regardless of how things may have been blown up and misconstrued. The punishments that were meted out were fit for what was found in the report.
All right, Crisanta, you're term limited, so what else do you want to accomplish before Well, you have to vacate your office, right?
Yes, yes. Well, it was an honor of my life to be able to serve as the first Latina Speaker of the House in Colorado and the only one in the country. And I think moving forward, I'm thinking about how I can be most effective. One thing I will say after looking at this past legislative session and over the last 8 years is the challenges that face women in the state in this country to be able to excel in politics in a variety of different workplaces are real. And we need to make sure that we are listening to the voices and values of women who want to be evaluated based on their hard work, their qualifications, their merit, and their skill, so that women have the opportunity to be able to reach their full potential. It is unfortunate that in the year 2018 we are still talking about sexual harassment in the workplace. We should be far beyond this, and the disparities that continue to face women in the workplace are absolutely unacceptable. We must do more.
So having said that, what's next for you?
Well, I'm going to be teaching a class at the University of Colorado in Colorado politics. I think I have a lot to share, and throughout the time I've served in the legislature, I've always tried to open doors for a next generation of leaders to be able to succeed, and I think this class will be a good opportunity to be able to work directly with students and be in the classroom.
I'm sure we'll be hearing more. President Grantham, do you think with what you were able to accomplish over the past couple of years, these will have lasting effects on Colorado?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the things that we're able to accomplish, it doesn't mean that we're done working on these things either. When we start looking at the accomplishments that we have over the last 2 years, I will look on the last 2 years with some profound pride over what we were able to do and what we were able to get accomplished. The speaker mentioned being the first Latina speaker. I'm not the first Latina president, but I am the first.
Yes.
I didn't want anybody to assume anything.
Okay, all right.
I am the first rural president in 43 years, and I think that did have an impact as far as the emphasis that we were able to make on rural Colorado over the last 2 years with Senate Bill 267 last year, as well as rural broadband and some other things that we're able to get accomplished for rural Colorado.
Absolutely.
And so I take pride in that, and I think that will be one of the best things I can look back on.
So tweaks, what would you, if you could go back and do something differently? Either one of you.
Well, I think the greatest challenge is when we see politics get in the way of progress. And overall, the last 2 legislative sessions, I think leaders from both parties had a lot of courage to come forward with solutions on a variety of different issues. I mean, this legislative session, we also worked to address the high cost of living in Colorado and had initiatives that came forward on affordable housing, trying to make childcare more affordable for more Colorado families. We have some of the highest childcare costs in the country, and we had a lot of progress to ensuring that we had a budget that is representative of all of Colorado, all 4 corners of the state, regardless of whether you live in a rural, urban, or suburban area of the state, that we provided solutions to some of the challenges that you face.
We have 30 seconds left, so you get the last word.
You know, I think as far as the tweaks that you would make, it comes down to communication. Where you saw the most success that we had the best communication. Whether it was PARA, whether it was the Civil Rights Division, whether it was rural Colorado or roads and transportation, every single one of those situations we had great communication across the aisle in each chamber and across the building to each chamber. And we communicated better, we got more things done. If I had things to tweak, it'd be working on better communication so we could have got even more done.
Well, congratulations, both of you. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
It's an honor.
Back in a moment.